Hi, I am Calum Cameron, and you are listening to GGUTT Talks, GGUTT.
Gut talks.
GGUTT Talks. Whoops. Okay.
You did the Italian thing, which is brilliant. That came from your gut.
It sounded like a sort of a radio cut or something. So, hi, I'm Calum Cameron, and you are listening to GGUTT Talks. It's GGUTT.
Cool.
Positive progress in that, and it's not that every sort of efficiency gain is worth doing. But again, I think it's one of the back. I don't want to bang Estonia's drum too much, but one of the unforeseen advantages of digitalizing in Estonia is you say that a lot of the stuff it's not just online and pure clicks, but there's stuff that happens proactively. You don't actually have to bother thinking about it. And there's also a consideration in the government that or in the public sector, that if any decisions or any processes don't require like sort of human consideration or human intervention to make a decision, then they should be automated. The classic story about the babies being born in Estonia and the maternity benefits being paid to the mothers automatically, because nobody needs to take a decision. The decisions were already taken many years ago that every mother will automatically get benefits based on this calculation. So now you have the different systems, the hospital systems, the population register, the tax and customs board, with the business processes over the top of them that actually create the interoperability that automate first identifying that we have a new Estonian and who the mother is, what the mother's salary was, I think the last 6 months or 6 to 12 months, what the average salary was, and where her bank account is. And then boom, it just gets paid out there. My point being, the same applies to starting up businesses, running businesses here in Estonia. So having removed most of that friction, Estonians don't get bogged down in how hard it is to work with bureaucracy. They now can actually just go and create. And there's something also, I think there's a negative effect of that friction, in that if you know there's friction ahead, then your mind just sort of shuts down and says, I'm not even going to bother. When that friction isn't there and you find that it's easy to play with ideas and test new ones, then you get excited and you do more and more and more and more.
Yeah.
And I think this is one of the unforeseen advantages of digitalizing, that actually you boost your creative mindset within society as a whole.
Yeah. I think we can talk about this subject for so long, actually, because beyond the culture, there's also the whole systemic change that comes into play, because what's going to work in one place is not necessarily going to work in the other one because of the culture and other things. So how do Estonians feel when they live abroad? Or even yourself, you've been in Estonia for a while now, and you know that if you were to move like to another country just to live, you will have friction more than freedom, if I can call it like that. So it will take away your time to create and innovate and do what you want to do.
This has to be true. But obviously that having seen how it works here and having worked with Estonians actually solving these problems in different parts of the world, then I see that friction as an opportunity now for people like me who can build out these relationships with all the wonderful entrepreneurs and creators out there to come in and actually solve the problem. So I see that opportunity there. Also, about e-residency here in Estonia. So
that's how I heard about Estonia. That was like
really?
years ago. Yeah. I think I think I've heard about Estonia before, just because I knew about geography. But I think I got to know more about it, and that's it is what it is, just because of the e-residency. So I went and I checked it out. It was at a I think at an exhibition, a startup kind of event, or at a conference. I can't remember where. But I saw a stand that was all about e-residency. So I even took a flyer and I went and I checked it out because I was just intrigued.
So are you an e-resident now?
No, no. Not yet. That's way. I considered it though years ago. Yeah.
So obviously you don't need it or feel the need for it. So residency essentially allows pretty much anybody in the world to become a virtual resident of Estonia. And the advantage of that is that they get to use Estonia's e-governance platforms and e-society platforms to create and operate an EU-based business. So we assumed, actually the story behind it is quite fun as well. It actually came out of a government hackathon where different public sector guys came together and started playing with ideas. It won this idea of an e-residency solution. The original pitch was Estonia's population is too small, so let's bring in another 10 million virtual residents of the country. Firstly, to take advantage of the system, but also by operating through Estonia and getting the money flowing through Estonia, Estonia would get part of that, not through taxes or anything like this directly, but just through other services and so forth there. And that in return would actually help fund the digital systems that it was all built on top of. But what was amazing about it was, so it was led at the time by a group from the CIO's office, our country's CIO office. But with, I think, how'd it go? It was something like in April 2014. I'm trying to remember, it was 13 or 14, but let's call it 14. They had the hackathon. Within a month, both the president and prime minister of Estonia had gone public internationally to say, we're building this. And oh, by the way, the first e-residency e-residency cards are going to be issued in November. So it was proper startup style. And a lot of the public sector agencies and things like the Police and Border Guard, Tax and Customs Board, that was the first they heard of this. When the president and prime minister came out to say, we're doing this, they said, so you're doing what? No way. And it happened. The first e-residence, actually it was pretty crap to start with. In that the idea was, okay, this is for people who didn't have the right to come into Europe themselves, or likely. But to become an e-resident day one, you had to do 2 trips into Estonia, the first one to apply and the second one to actually pick up your card. Nowadays, you can do most of it online and go to local entities to pick up your cards. The funny thing, though, is it's become most popular with Germans who are already in the EU, already have and they get no tax benefits by running it from Estonia. They're still paying, their business is still in Germany, their tax is still in Germany, all that sort of stuff. But it is just so much faster and cheaper for them to establish and operate their company from Estonia. That's what they do in there. So it's a fantastic solution anyway. So back to your point that if I go somewhere else, then there's a strong chance I don't know how to qualify. I don't qualify as an e-resident because I'm a permanent resident of Estonia, which means I still already get the advantages anyway. Yeah.
Okay. No, I considered it, to be honest, but I was already in Europe, so I didn't feel, yeah. But I was like, this is cool. It just sounded, I think the branding was really cool for it because I checked it out a few times. I was like, this is cool. But then I was like, okay. But then I started thinking also, okay, do I really need it? No. So then when you start finding the negatives, like, why don't you need it? Because, I usually operate that way. I need reasons. So, but I do trust my gut as well, which we're going to get back to. I was like, but I don't know anyone in Estonia. Now I do. I know many people in Estonia, but
now you're
well
connected, yeah.
And I was like, but I don't speak the language either. So how would I know? But it sounds cool, to be honest, because I know I worked with lots of startups and entrepreneurs to establish and incorporate their businesses. And I mean, the UK is pretty easy, but for example, in Italy or, France, whatever, it's more complicated. And this is, when we talk, you were mentioning the friction. When there's lots of friction, you get discouraged, obviously. So, so this is where I guess potential ideas and innovations die before they even see the light because no one wants to do it because of those reasons.
Exactly. It takes 15 minutes to start up a business here in Estonia, including with your initial bank accounts and so forth. Tax is, at least for small enterprises like mine, is calculated automatically. All you have to do is have a look, make sure it looks right, and click go. And bizarrely, the people in the Tax and Custom Board if you reach out for help, they're really friendly and responsive.
Okay.
So that to me was actually one of the biggest things. Like, well, you've got a tax and customs board where they're actually proactive and nice. That was a bit confusing.
Yeah, that's wow. I'm impressed by that, because for me the first step is, do they even answer? So it's not just that they're friendly.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, cool. So what else are you working on, by the way? What's exciting we didn't talk about?
Okay. So we've got the so there's obviously there's innovation labs we're doing with the football clubs and previously with banks and telcos and so forth. There's the stuff with Accelerate Estonia. There's actually two. So we've got two big projects we're working on with Accelerate Estonia at the moment, which are super cool. One of them is building up an advanced U-space, so UAV drones, living labs solution or service here in Estonia. So new drone or U-space services. So it could be anything from the traffic management through to the location management to the actual drones themselves and the businesses who are using them, or for infrastructure monitoring or for delivery, these sort of things, that they will actually be able to prove their services in an urban, suburban environment. Taking again this Estonian mindset of, well, if we've already got the data because we've been monitoring you digitally, you don't need to now go and actually fill out lots more paperwork and so forth. So how can we bring this sort of frictionless approach to bringing UAVs into society? And this has driven the lead partner on this project is a group called Zero Est, who are focused on zero emission aviation from Estonia.